Hey everyone, so today we're going to talk to you about some bill proposals in Congress. Basically, there's a House and Senate version of a tax cut proposal. These proposals are going to negatively affect all college students in one way or another. The proposal repeals state and local tax deductions, which is really impactful in states that have a high tax rate, and for any college student that's already struggling to get by, not being able to deduct this from your taxes is just like a huge hit. Also, this proposal caps borrowing for the federal student loan programs, so you just wouldn't be able to take out as many loans, which might cause people to turn to other higher risk, higher rate loan programs that don't necessarily have the best interest of the student at heart. The last thing about this proposal is that it proposes a 1.4% excise tax on endowments for about 68 universities, any university that has over $250,000 per student, and this basically just reduces the amount of money there is for everything at a college.
So I'm only able to come to Brown because I'm receiving significant financial aid, and at Brown I am currently working to get involved in physics research. So what this bill would do is cut endowments that go toward both funding this student research and for my financial aid, meaning that I may not be able to participate in research I otherwise could, which in a sense devalues the education, but also I may not even be able to attend Brown if the endowments to financial aid get cut significantly.
The thing that this tax bill will do is that it will really hit hard the areas of the country that are already paying high taxes, like New York, where I'm from, which will really hurt families that are already paying rather high taxes. I know that there are a lot of families where I'm from that literally spend all their money on taxes just so they can be in a nice area and put their kids through a nice public school. And it's also going to hurt the opportunities in some of these areas that they have for in the public sphere. So, for instance, I got an email today from my PTSA, which doesn't get political because it's a public school. I got an email from my PTSA that said, we really need you to help and to call your senators because we are worried that we're going to lose a lot of resources. And I was really, really, really lucky that I got to go to a really good public school that gave me a lot of good opportunities and gave me a good education. But if people lose that, then it's going to be harder for them to even get a decent high school education in those areas.
As a proponent of like liberal education, it's just really disturbing to see the fact that people are not able to pursue their passions just because they aren't able to support themselves or don't see it as something that's a practical option for their futures.
So because the Senate's in reconciliation process, they only need a majority of 51 senators, which means they don't have to consult Democrats at all on the bill, which means the views of almost half of all constituents, more popular in terms of popular numbers, are not getting represented because there's absolutely no need to make this a partisan effort, which not only means that views are less represented, but historically means that the bill will be harder to uphold and less effective in the long run anyway.
Yeah, and this also has, the reason why this is all happening right now is because, for one, the Republicans really want to get something passed. I've heard multiple times from Trump and from multiple Republican lawmakers, we want to give the American people a Christmas gift. We want to give them a huge, beautiful tax breaker. I don't even remember the Trump quote. That's their angle right now, and they really just want to get something passed, and a tax cut is palatable to the American people. People love tax cuts, but what they don't realize is, because it's reconciliation, that means that any tax cut cannot be permanent and must be reversed. So yeah, it has to do with like how much of the deficit is increased, but that means that like all of these tax cuts that we're getting for Christmas, the like middle class Americans, they will be phased out in a handful of years. It's terrible, and it's not bipartisan at all, and it's going to have a lot of adverse impacts in the long run. Because by the time you see this video, the bill will most likely have passed. You won't be seeing this video unless it does pass the Senate. Once it passes the Senate, like we said before, it'll be headed to conference committee, which is one step closer to depriving a lot of Americans of a beneficial education. Right now, the greatest thing for you guys to do is to call your reps in Congress, especially the senators. The reason why I say that is because in the Senate, the Republicans have a 52-member majority. The more likely option, though, is for right now, we need everyone that sees this video to keep sharing it. Make your goal to share it with like 3 other people And if we get a chain of recognition, it's not for us. It's that because if we get enough support and enough people hear about this and what it's going to do to their college costs and what it's going to do to their children's tuition and what it's going to do to their children's futures, if enough people hear about it, it will actually put a lot of pressure on senators. So that's the key. The key is just to get as many senators feeling as pressured as possible. It just creates an effect to where lawmakers will feel pressured to either amend the bill to make it more, palatable for people, or to just tank it entirely.
So you need to call your reps. So call your senators and call your representatives in the House. The website to find your representative for the House is house.gov/representatives/find-your-representative.